So far in the Bad Batch, the main villain spotlight has been given to Tarkin. Now of course, Tarkin, as an incredibly popular character, serves his purpose by reintroducing us into this era of Star Wars. But I don't think he will be the main villain of this series. Instead, episode 2 of the Bad Batch gives us a clue as to who will be the main villain moving forward. In the second episode, we get to see a hologram of an imperial officer giving a message to the people on Saleucami. The officer we see on screen is giving information on the newly introduced chaincodes, mandating that every citizen of the Empire must possess one in order to do anything. Although the show hasn't formally introduced us to this character, I decided to do a little digging to figure out who exactly is he. Turns out he already has a Black Series action figure, which confirms my suspicion on his greater role in the future of the series. The man we see in the hologram is Vice Admiral Rampart. According to the description provided on the Black Series action figure, Vice Admiral Rampart is an enthusiastic soldier of the Galactic Empire, and has been tasked by Tarkin to oversee the clone troopers on Kamino. Of course, this doesn't seem like much, but if you take everything into context, it is pretty clear that the creatives over at Lucasfilm are hinting to us about his much bigger role in the future. The Star Wars animated shows have a long history of introducing big villains only for the spotlight to be taken up by newly introduced villains for the series. In fact, the same situation actually happened to Tarkin in the Rebels animated show, and so this is where Vice Admiral Rampart fits in perfectly. Not to mention the fact that since Vice Admiral Rampart was tasked with overseeing the clones on Kamino, having him essentially as an imperial spokesperson on Saleucami seems rather odd. So it would be safe to assume that the creative team at Lucasfilm placed Vice Admiral Rampart in this hologram in episode 2 as a way to set up his future role in the series down the line. Given that we know we will eventually return to Kamino at some point, since as far as we know, Crosshair is still on the watery planet, I am sure Rampart will have some role to play down the line. In all honesty, not much is known about the character himself, but if his appearance on Saleucami is any indication, meaning that if he is the main villain of the series, it only seems reasonable that Kamino will once again be at the forefront of attention. It is unlikely that we will see Tarkin make a frequent appearance in the series. After all, the newly formed Galactic Empire is a big place, and I'm sure Tarkin has plenty of other issues to deal with. Not to mention, at this point in the series, Tarkin's military career is on the rise, so if he does consistently deal with the Bad Batch, and the Bad Batch are able to consistently evade and triumph over him, it won't really look good on his military record. So it would only make sense that Tarkin does not handle the Bad Batch situation directly, but rather hands it off to a newly introduced character that can take the fall for the Bad Batch's situation. While we don't know the exact fate of Vice Admiral Rampart, it is safe to say that as a consequence of fighting against the Bad Batch, our heroes will probably come out on top. Which means that if Vice Admiral Rampart fails in his mission and doesn't make an appearance in future Star Wars shows down the line, there won't be an issue of continuity. After all, in the case of Tarkin, we all know what happens to him at the end. So that is why I think Vice Admiral Rampart will be the featured villain of the Bad Batch story. I think it just opens up so much more possibilities for the Bad Batch plotline, and sets up a much more anticipated conflict in the series down the line. That's all for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Star Wars content. As always, I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.